Hey there guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea and this is a special user-submitted question video. Now where we got this question was every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, people send in questions, but on the rare occasion that somebody sends in a tip of like $50 or more, I like to honor that by not only answering the question on the show, but also answering it again later in its own standalone video. So that's what we're going to do right now. And this one comes to us from Jonathan Teft, who writes, "Rest in peace, Gene Reynolds, co-creator of my favorite show of all time, MASH. He passed away at 96. Do you have any fond memories of MASH or a favorite episode? The ending of, I always mispronounce this, Abishina Henry will always be one of the most heartbreaking moments in TV history." All right, thanks a lot. Now, MASH was, kind of a little bit before my time. I wasn't really old enough to watch shows like that when it was on, but it was one of the shows that my parents liked, and so the reruns would be on quite often. The ending of Abishina, I always mispronounce it, Henry, brutal, because this was a character who was kind of the commander of the MASH unit for I believe the first 3 seasons. And on the last episode, I believe of season 3, he gets discharged and he's going home to the United States. And they find out at the very end of the episode that the plane he was on to go home got shot down and he died. Now, that was huge because MASH was a beloved show and these were all beloved characters. More importantly, it was really a comedy. Yes, it dealt with war and it was a medical drama and all that kind of stuff at the same time. But Henry Blake, the commander of the unit, was also a comedic character, as were all the characters, Hawkeye and everybody else. It was primarily a comedy. And the fact that a show like that could hit with something so hard and so heavy, it hit a lot of people out of left field and became one of the most memorable moments in television. That's what I remember. But what I remember even more is another episode in MASH that I might contend still to this day might be one of the most powerful moments, heartbreaking moments, devastating moments in television history. You see, once again, you got to remember that when this show was on, it was primarily a comedy. It was more than that, but primarily a comedy. And I believe it might have even been in the series finale, Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, or it might have been earlier, I can't remember. But Hawkeye he's been having struggles and snapping. And he's talking to a therapist. And he remembers being on this bus that was filled with a lot of people, and they had to hide the bus because there were enemy patrols coming around. And he remembers this woman being on the bus and having this chicken. And the chicken kept making noise, and everybody was afraid that if the chicken kept making noise, the enemy patrol would find them and they'd all be dead. So Hawkeye keeps yelling at this woman, "Keep that chicken quiet." And then ultimately the woman kills her own chicken to keep it quiet so to not give everybody away. But then the twist comes. As he's doing therapy and talking to the therapist, Hawkeye realizes that it wasn't a chicken. The chicken was a figment of his imagination as a defense mechanism. The woman was holding her own baby, and the baby had been crying. And because Hawkeye and the danger they were in, and Hawkeye was yelling at her to keep that baby quiet, she ended up killing her own baby to keep the baby quiet. And this led to a moment and a scene. Alan Alda, who played Hawkeye, just this incredibly emotional moment of him breaking down. Why? And it's just to this day, one of the, even in the era now when you can swear on TV and you can show gory stuff and you can do all this kind of stuff, it stands as one of the most powerful moments, maybe the most powerful moment ever in television history. Again, also kind of propelled by the fact that it was primarily a comedy and it caught a lot of people off guard. And then just the final scene of MASH, the very final scene of the series, as the one of the two buddies takes off and he sees down on the ground that the other friend had spelt out goodbye. It was a beautiful way, maybe the greatest way to end a series in history, but those are the ones about MASH that come to mind for me. What about the rest of you guys? Are some of you old enough to remember that series MASH? Maybe you were old enough to watch it when it was first on. Maybe you're like me and you watched it afterwards in reruns. But do you have any favorite memories of MASH? Jump down to the comment section below and leave me your thoughts. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. Thanks a lot for being here. My name is John Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.